Okay, we are going to do a practice room and do a few little things together for a minute. You guys have got a paper that looks like this, and we've already set up kind of the basics of the room. This is the back wall. These are the edges, like this would be the ceiling. These are the edges of the ceiling, the two side walls, and the floor. And they're already in place for you. Now, when we do our final drawing, we're going to have to draw these things in. We're going to do that at a different time. But for this, you can see we do have a single point, but we need to find it really quick. So if you line up these lines, they're going to lead to your single point. So I just have put the ruler along this edge and this edge, and I'm just going to make a small mark here in the middle. I just need to see where these intersect, and that's going to give me my 1 point for our 1 point perspective room. Oh, there's where they cross, and it's a little bit big. I'm going to keep that dot there. I don't care that I'm drawing it dark. In our final drawing, we'll want to do all of our drawing really lightly so that we can erase things away and not have ghost lines. But for this, it doesn't matter. This is just a practice. We're just going to try some stuff out, see if we can make some furniture, see if we can change things from cube forms to more furniture looking kind of things. So remember, for this room, we're going to be making something weird. I'm not going to worry about that right now. It probably will end up eventually just becoming weird on its own, and it's surrealism kind of twist happening there. But for now, we're just going to try to make some basic structures. Now, you saw there's some criteria. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but we will need to have some windows and doors. We're going to have a couple of pieces of furniture, and there needs to be something happening on all of the surfaces, back wall, bottom, top, all over the place. And then, of course, something wacky is going to happen too. So let's start with something easy. Let's just put a window on this wall right here. Now, if you remember, in boxes, we're going to be putting things so the front face is closest to us. So a window's not too hard. We just need to remember tops and bottoms. Anything that's receding into space is going to run to this point. The sides are always going to be up and down. So for everything we do, if it's moving back, it's going to go to this vanishing point. So let's just try it out. I'm going to do the sides of the window. They're just running straight up and down. And I'm going to do another side to the window. I'm just trying to make things straight as I can. Just kind of eyeballing. Now, it would be easy to just think, oh, I'm going to make the top and the bottom of the window. But that's not correct. These are receding into space, just like the top edge and the bottom edge of this floor are running to that vanishing point. So that is not what we're going to do. And while we're working, you guys can pause this video. I'm going to go pretty fast so this video isn't 1,000 hours long, but you guys can pause and check each other's out. Use your elbow partner to see if you have done things correctly. Compare with each other. This is our time to figure out all of this stuff. Okay, so the parts that are receding into space are going to the point. Straight up and downs are just straight up and down. There is a window. Now, right now, this window doesn't have any depth or dimension. It's just like it's like stuck to the wall, and that's all we can see. But really, if we were looking at a window in the thickness of a wall, we would see some things. So this is where you can think about like this being the backside of a box and we can't see the front. There would be something like this happening. We would see the back end edges of this wall. So just from this corner, I just did a little straight out. And look, I'm comparing the ruler with this edge of the room to see if I have it straight. Another straight out. I'm just going to draw this straight up and down. And now I've got just this like flat face, just like we had when we did boxes yesterday. So just that flat face. Now this is the one from this corner is going to go to that vanishing point. This is going to go to that vanishing point because they're parallel to each other. Sets of parallel lines that are receding into space run to a vanishing point, or the same vanishing point. So from that corner right here, I'm just going to draw my line using my vanishing point to guide it. So I'm lined up with my point. Hopefully you guys can see. And going to that corner. So now, just with that little bump out like a rectangle right there, and drawing my lines from here to here, I now have a three-dimensional looking window that looks like it sinks into the wall. So you could do a lot of cool things. There could be wacky stuff happening outside this window. There could be, I could put curtains on here. There could be bars across this window. There could be a lot of kind of cool things happening here. Okay, we're going to keep going and we're going to add some more things to this. So we're going to, sorry, didn't mean to bump that. We're going to go ahead and on this wall, we're going to make a door. Okay, we're going to do something pretty easy. Again, straight up and down goes straight up and down. So let's go ahead and just pick where our door is going to go. Actually, I think we might put a piece of furniture right here in a minute. I might put a door in maybe here at the very edge, and then we'll put a piece of furniture by it. Yeah. I'm always making these different every time I draw them. Okay, we're just going to do a small door right here. So I've got my straight up and downs. Now what's the top of the door going to do? Is it just going to be a straight across line? No, it recedes into space, so it goes to the vanishing point. So I'm just going to put a door, I'll put it about right top of the door right there. And erase away any extra lines I have. And there is at least the opening. Now this could be and go into a hallway. And there's one secret line we could do if we just draw a straight line from this corner straight over. Suddenly that just became a hallway, just like that. That's all that it took, was just adding that line. Or if I want it to just look like a door, I could keep that away and I could just draw a really cool doorknob on here. And suddenly I just have the door. You can kind of decide how you want to do that. There's some cool things we can do. I'm going to keep it as a hallway so that I can show you some stuff in this in a little bit. Now right here, we're going to put, say, a bed. Let's make a bed. So when you're making furniture, what you want to think about, openings are fun on the sides, but when you're making furniture, it's a little bit different how you want to approach it. You want to think about the boxes we drew yesterday. The first thing you drew was that closest surface to you. That square or rectangle that was closest to you was what we drew first. This time, it's the same with furniture. We're going to draw that closest surface to us. So a bed, if you think about this bed running back into this corner right here, I'm going to draw the end of the bed that is closest to me. So I'm going to go ahead and just draw that rectangle in place. And I'm letting it come up against the wall. I'm not keeping it out away from the wall, so it can come up a little bit. I'll probably put some legs on the bed in a minute. So I'm just making a rectangle. Always using our ruler. And if I could erase this line, I would, because it's sort of in the way, but it's there just to help us figure this out. So I've got, this is the edge of the mattress, that edge closest to us. Now the sides of the mattress are running back into space. So from this corner and this corner and this corner, we need to go to the vanishing point. This is familiar. You've done this before. This is something you've done. And you can run your line all the way if you want to. You'll have some erasing to do, or you can stop a little bit early and make it so that you don't have to go quite all the way. It's less erasing to do. And I've got this edge right here to do too. Okay, now I can see I want this to look like it goes right into the corner. So I'm going to do a straight across line right there. And that will help guide me. This ruler has a lot of bumps in it. I don't know if you guys can see that. I have to pick spots carefully where I use it. And now I know where straight up and down is too. And we've got it in the corner and it's coming straight out and it's doing its thing. I can erase all these extra lines that are coming out. So there is my rectangle mattress. Now again, I would erase this line and this line and this line if I could, but they're part of this paper. I can't erase them and make them disappear. So we're just going to pretend they aren't existing right now. So we've got kind of that part of the bed in place. Now this bed does not look very comfy yet. It is like kind of floating off the ground and we need to do a few more things. So just like I drew this square here, I'm going to draw a leg on here and it's going to be in a square. We're just going to draw this. I want it to come down and come to the corner of the floor. So I'm just going to draw a small leg right there. It's just a rectangle, like this was a rectangle. So if you think about this, just a miniature version of what we just did there, I'm going to draw back from this corner, and it's not very much. Hopefully you guys can see that. I'm just drawing a little baby line. It was so tiny. And then just straight up and down. And I just drew one of the legs. Now I will be able to know where the other leg goes because I'll just go straight across and I'll be like, oh, this leg just is at the same height. So I just put that up to the bottom and went over to the same height. I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay, and again, I can't see this back side this time, so I can only see this side. So again, right there from that corner, just a little tiny guy, and go straight up. Oh, I've got legs there. Okay, so now it doesn't look like it's just floating off the ground. Now there's going to be a little bit of a leg showing here too. If I take that line that I drew, that little tiny one, and I draw it back here a little bit, now I can see where that little leg's just going to peek, and I've got a tiny bit of a leg. It's so little, but it does exist there, and it was just lined up with this that went to that vanishing point. So that is my guide to how big that leg should have been. So it just falls on that same point. So that's pretty easy. Now this still doesn't look like a very comfortable bed. Like, we need pillows. These corners look like they could really, if you sat on this bed, it would do damage to you. So we need to figure out how to soften this bed and use our drawing skills to now let this just be a guide for this rectangular bed. So what I want to do now is I want to kind of round this bed a little bit, or put a blanket over it, or whatever I need to do. So I'm going to kind of take these edges and I'm going to soften them a little bit. Maybe there is kind of a wiggly blanket that comes down. Maybe this softens a little bit. Maybe that corner kind of disappears. Oh, it's already starting to look a little more comfy, right? Maybe their blanket kind of comes around. It's softer right here. Kind of curve it around. Get rid of that sharp corner. Okay, so that's feeling a little softer. Maybe your blanket has kind of like it's a quilt. Like it kind of follows some of that to that vanishing point. Some lines on it. It's getting a little more soft and comfy looking. Maybe up here there's a pillow. Now if I was doing a pillow, use your vanishing point for your pillow. We know that this could kind of be the top edge of the pillow. Here could be the bottom edge of the pillow, but the sides of the pillow need to run to the vanishing point. So use it as a guide. So here is an edge of a pillow, and here's the other edge. Now that doesn't look like a very comfortable pillow. I maybe should have gone a little further this way. That doesn't look like a very comfy pillow, right? It just looks like a flat piece of something sitting on here. So if I want to make this look more comfy, then let's poof it up. Let's add a little bit to it. Let's fluff it. Now we've got kind of this fluffy, comfy pillow going on, and we've kind of poofed it up a little bit. And that's just where we know how to do some cool drawing stuff. I could draw on here teddy bears and all kinds of cool things. We could draw a lot of fun stuff onto this bed. There could be something under the bed, reaching out from under it. There's so many crazy cool things we could do. That was not hard. Again, it's just the rectangle, like we know how to draw with little rectangles underneath for legs. We can do these things. So that's not too hard, right? So there's still a lot more we can do to this. We know how to make openings. We know how to make a hallway or a door. We know how to make a bed. But what if we want to do something like a lot more complex? Maybe something like a sofa or a chair. Those do get to be a little bit more tricky, but they really aren't that hard. If you think about this end that's closest to us is what we want to draw. So if I wanted to put a couch right here in this corner, all I would need to do is I'm just going to draw the end of a couch, the side view of a couch, just straight on. So whatever shape I want it to be. Let's say I want my couch to look like this. And it comes up. It's got a seat. Maybe it even, and it comes up. This is just the side of the couch. And that's its shape. Now maybe it has an arm in it. It could have a lot of cool things going on there, but I'll add some of that in a minute. Maybe my couch is even, yeah, it's like this L shape. Okay, so I just drew that. I could use my ruler, but I just kind of got it in place. Any shape, as long as I run it to the vanishing point, it's going to work. So check this out. I did an L shape. I'm going to use these guys. I'm going to run that one there. Anywhere there's a corner, whether it's an outer corner or an inner corner, that's what I need to draw. And one more outer corner. Okay, so I just drew all of those from this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner. There were that many corners, and I drew them all to that vanishing point. This shape right here, if I just repeat it again, right back here, so it went straight up and down on this one. It goes straight across on this one. It goes straight up and down right here, because that's what it did there, and it goes straight across right here. I just drew the main structure of my sofa really easily. And then again, just like before, I could put legs on this and run that to the vanishing point and have that little leg there. Again, this running to the vanishing point and put another little leg in there. Pretty easy. Now, if I don't know where this leg right here that would be able to be seen, where it would go, I would hold this up to that leg down there and use this one as a guide to this, and that would guide me as to where that leg goes. And I just drew a sofa. Now we said maybe we wanted to have an arm on the sofa. I can add that in. It's not going to be very far that this goes. That goes to the vanishing point. I just draw that straight in, straight down, and I can erase this. Oh, this actually is going to go like this, sit like that, and this would go like this. So those corners, that would come down. And I could add just like, it's like I just added a little box right there for that arm. I could come in and maybe there's cushions kind of in the couch. Maybe there's sort of like, I know I'm not using my ruler very well. Forgive me, because I'm being fast for you guys so you can see how this works. So you'll pause the video and I'll have you guys all try like a sofa, but you can see I can put the cushions in. I could round this more if I wanted it more rounded, just like I did with the bed, and make it look a little more comfy. Maybe these, that guy goes back there, kind of come up. They might go across too. And it's starting to turn into a couch just because I just did whatever shape I wanted and followed those lines there. So that's not hard to do. So we've got a sofa, we've got a big window, we've got a door, we've got a bed. We're doing all kinds of things. Now, I always have kids ask me like, well, Mrs. Sigg, what if the piece of furniture is on this back wall? What runs to the vanishing point? That gets really, really confusing. It really doesn't get too confusing because you're still going to have tops and parts of your furniture that are going to run to the vanishing points. Like, so for example, if I wanted to put, say, a dresser right here, and here is, I'm going to draw the face of the dresser first. Okay, everything that's going to happen on that dresser just sits right here. So I've got, and you'll use a ruler. I know, I'm just saving some time. And I would put in all my drawers and all those things in here, and I'd get this all looking really amazing. And I'd put all of those things in. But the top, since we're below our eye level line, it's the top of the dresser. It's going to run to the vanishing point, and this corner to the vanishing point. And this side, since we're right here at the side, I'm going to make sure this runs all the way to the corner of that. And these need to come and meet each other. And these go straight across. So it's just, again, drawing the box, but then turning it into something else. So I drew the face of a box. It still ran there. I made sure it ended in a corner so it doesn't look crazy. And I could finish drawing this whole dresser and make it look really awesome. Okay. So I could, and then I could put like cool things if I wanted to put like a vase or something on here. That's where you don't use perspective. You just are going to draw. But remember, we have something called an ellipse. A small, like, we don't see a circle. We'd see like, that is a wacky looking vase. And maybe there's something really cool coming out of that vase. So you'll have fun drawing some of these simple things. Now, let's get a little crazier. Let's just have a little bit more fun. Let's say that in this ceiling, there is a skylight happening. Something kind of cool going on there. Or we could do a rug on the bottom too. That's always really fun too. Or a shelf on the side. Or, man, there's so many cool things we could draw on here. It just gets really exciting. Let's go ahead and let's do one more wacky thing, just because, and I think I'm going to kind of flip this over and pretend this is a floor again, even though it'll be on the ceiling, just to show you one other really cool thing. There's some other cool tricks you can do. If you use your corner of your room, you can kind of make any kind of furniture you want. Like if I draw a line straight up and down and straight out between these two things, I could do any shape I wanted. We did an L shape, and I know that seems really safe, but what if it was like cloud shaped? Boop. And it was like shaped like that. That seems kind of wacky, right? So if I wanted to put a weird cloud piece of furniture up here on my ceiling, again, anywhere there are edges, like this is a corner, that would be a corner, a corner, a corner, and a corner. So I've got 5 corners there that need to run to my vanishing point. I can do this with any shape I want, as long as any of these corners, inner or outer, run to your vanishing point. So let's check out this weird cloud thing I put on. I don't even know what it's called. It's a decorative cloud light that sits up here. Okay, I just drew something from each corner. And now as long as I repeat that and I make that same curve back here, here's that same curve. Look at that curve, and I make that curve, and I make this next curve, and I make one more curve. I can make anything I want. And I just have this, and I would erase this back line that's going through that, and that would just be hanging out of my room. It could be stairs. This could have been steps going in the room. I could have made stairs happening really, really easily. So stairs are not hard either. In fact, we'll do some kind of more complex stairs somewhere else maybe. So we're having a lot of fun now, right? You see, this is coming to life so easily. Let's go ahead and let's put a rug right here, but then we're going to turn it into something else. So if it was a rug, okay, again, straight across, say side to side, because this is side to side, it's parallel with that. We're going to just draw the front edge of a rug. Okay, easy. I'm going to draw the back edge too. But the sides are going to be parallel with these, which mean they are running and receding into space. They need to go to the vanishing point. So there's the side of one rug and this side of another. Well, that wasn't too hard. I could add tassels to this or a cool pattern on here. I could do a lot of cool things, and that could actually even be one of my pieces of furniture in here really easily. So, but what if I do this? Instead, it's not a rug anymore. What if it becomes, I just drop a line, like I dropped a line straight in this way? What if I drop a line straight down from the back of here? And straight down from here. Suddenly this just became like a pit, a hole in the floor, just traveling, like moving straight down in. That's intense, right? Or what if this becomes like a swimming pool instead? We totally could do that. Maybe back here it's like kind of a watery sort of edge. And we need a guideline for the water on this side. I'm going to go ahead and use that spot where the water ended. I'm just going to put a guideline. Now I know where the water needs to go there, and I can fill this in bumpy with water. And same thing on this side. Again, I'm using the vanishing point, just a little guideline, a light guideline to make my kind of watery edge. And I could erase these lines that are underwater, where because maybe I can't see them. Maybe the water's not very see-through. Maybe in this water there is like a shark fin or piranhas or something sticking out, or maybe something's a Loch Ness or a tentacle is coming out and grabbing whoever's sleeping on the bed. I don't know. There could be so many cool things. So I could kind of make this all seem like now it's a swimming pool. And it was just those 2 little lines that made it sink in. It was really cool that that could happen. So that's kind of cool. Now, I told you we were going to maybe make another set of stairs. What if there were stairs, say, what if there were stairs going like in this door, like you walked into here and it started going up steps instead? Not hard to do at all. I'm just going to go ahead and draw the stairs in place on this wall, just the edges of the steps, straight up and down, straight across. Okay, there's my stairs. I now have, just like I did here, I've got corners and inner parts, but it's actually the back edge that I drew. So I just need to draw a line through to the vanishing point on all of my corners, just like I did on this, just like I did on this. We just want to make sure they run to the vanishing points, and I can make steps really, really easily. So there is the first front step. I'm going to go ahead and erase that little line. Inner corner, lining up with my vanishing point, just a little bit lower. Okay. And this outer corner, inner corner, this outer corner, and that will be the last one. And you can see I just made stairs going into that hallway. So that's pretty cool that I can just do crazy things like that. Now, let's talk a little bit more about ellipses because I think they're important. On the back wall, if you were to draw a circle, say there was a clock hanging on the wall, a circle clock, it would just look like a circle because we're seeing it straight on. But if this circle clock was hanging, say, on this wall instead, we now are seeing a circle at an angle, and it's called an ellipse. So you wouldn't draw a circle on this wall. We're seeing it at an angle. It needs to be something more like an ellipse. So I just know some kids like to do round things. An ellipse is just a flattened circle. So that is what it would look like on here. It might even stick out a little bit and kind of have that look back behind too. And it might pop off the wall a tiny bit. So that would be the same as this circle here, but we're seeing it at an angle. So keep that in mind for anything you want to do that's round. I have kids sometimes ask, like, well, Mrs. Sigg, what if I wanted to have like something more organic, like and rough looking happening? Like say in the ceiling there was like a hole that was sort of like broken and chunky happening. How is that going to work? Like I've got a hole, a chunk coming out. Well, I just drew it. I didn't use any perspective, but I am still going to follow some of my rules a little bit that I might see some mass here. So like right here, it would kind of come up and I'd repeat this to where I couldn't see it again. This, anywhere there's kind of points, I'd kind of repeat. Here's kind of an edge. So I'm just kind of making this look three-dimensional. I can't really see that one. And then I can't really see these because they moved up behind, but just adding that little level, and that just takes drawing skills. That didn't even take perspective to do that kind of a thing. I might even see a little bit of this side too. So it just takes kind of some drawing skills to be able to do some of those things. So it's just sort of repeating that same kind of line, and then you ended up with a hole in your ceiling. So you can do all of these kinds of fun things. It just takes playing around with it, you know, just having fun. Once the perspective starts clicking, it just happens really easily. After you have your main furniture in place, then bring the weirdness out. We're going to show you guys a whole bunch of examples, student examples of what they've done. Some of the weird is really subtle and it's quiet, but it's there and sneaky. Some of it is so weird it's totally in your face. The whole thing is completely wild, and you can take it to whatever degree you want. You can have it be very subtle. You could introduce, maybe you have a favorite character, something you'd like to draw. Maybe you want this to look really cartoonish. Maybe you want it to look very realistic. Maybe it's mystical. Maybe there's vines. Maybe it's scary. Maybe it's funny. Just think about the kind of feeling you want to have in your room, and it's all going to come together. Now, I have a video coming up next after you look at some examples. It's going to show you guys on your drawing paper how to draw this room by yourself. And when we do this, you're going to need to decide if you want your wall really far away, and so it's really tiny, so the room's super long, or maybe you want your back wall really big and you don't want a whole lot of side wall happening. So you get to make those decisions in your art piece. So I hope you guys have fun trying this out. Maybe you even do more than this and try some more things, but pause the video lots of times. Take your time. Make sure watch your neighbor. That's really important. You guys, you know that that a teacher alone can't make sure you're doing everything right. So help each other out and make sure everything's going good. All right. Good job, you guys.